Hello, I'm David Llewellyn. I am a writer for the Milwaukee Symphony's Backstage webpage, and we are here today to talk about Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, which is coming up very quickly on the MSO calendar, and about the different sizes of trombones, which are going to be used in the last movement of Beethoven's Fifth. Tell us a little bit about the cute little guy you have there.
Well, what I have here is an alto trombone, and usually the trombone is in B flat, like this, that Kirk has, but this one is a fourth higher and it's in E flat. The alto trombone hasn't been used much in the last century, but now it's having a renaissance, and all these classical pieces and before was written for the alto trombone. Originally, trombones grew up in a church, and it evolved as a supporter for the church choir. So usually the alto trombone supported the alto singers, and the tenor trombone supported the tenor singers, and then the bass trombone supported the bass singers, and the soprano was strong enough so they didn't need much help. That's why we have so many different size trombones to match the different ranges of voice.
And Kirk, you are playing the tenor trombone, which is like what most people think of when they think of a trombone, right?
It is a very generic version of the trombone. When you think of trombone or look trombone up on Wikipedia, this is more or less what you get.
That looks like a kind of on the small side tenor trombone. Is that the suitable for Beethoven's Fifth Symphony trombone?
Yeah.
Okay.
When we play repertoire from this time period, I generally size down the tenor trombone that I'm playing, just to give a better match and blend with the alto.
Week in, week out, more normal repertoire, how would your instrument look different?
Well, the first way it would look different is this space right here would be filled with a valve.
Right.
It's got extra tubing, and that tubing allows me to hit notes in the lower register that are not available on this instrument. The other difference is that the bore size, in other words, the size of this tubing, is slightly smaller on this instrument. On my standard tenor that I'm normally playing in the orchestra, it's a slightly larger bore size, which just translates into a slightly bigger, more robust sound.
Okay. And speaking of bigger, more robust sound, we have John here with the bass trombone, which has not one but two coils of tubing up there.
Yep, all the extra plumbing. So this is the F attachment, which basically, if I depress this trigger, it's the same as if I played it without the trigger but had the slide out here. So I can play the same note that I would normally play in sixth position, but I can play it in first. So instead of the same note, theoretically. And then this valve, which is specific to bass trombone, is pitched in G flat. So instead of going from B flat to F, I go to G flat. So that then if I use the two of them in combination, I have a D. So like that. And that is basically there to allow me to play one extra note, which is a low B natural, which would not exist on a horn that has only one valve, because it would go down only to C,
Right.
and then to the pedal B flat, which is the root of the instrument.
And a standard trombone slide has how many positions?
7.
Megumi, how many does the alto have?
It also has 7.
Really? Okay.
But the distance is different.
Okay.
So, should we compare? Let's do our second position. Mine is for about here. See, it's a little shorter, and then let's do third position, and then fourth, and then fifth, and sixth, and seventh. So it's a little different distance, but we both have 7 positions. And it's very scary to use the 7th position, because on the tenor trombone, you don't have to worry about the slide coming off. But the alto trombone, the slide is shorter, so if you go 7 too much, then the slide comes off. So it's kind of dangerous.
Can you each give us a, going down the line, brief demonstration of what alto tenor bass sounds like in good repertoire?
Sure.
what chronologically is unusual about Beethoven 5 for trombones?
So the trombone has been around for a really long time, and it has been used in orchestras, but only in a sacred setup. So we have been used in Mozart's Requiem, or even we can be used in a Bach Mass or a choral piece too. But the Beethoven's Fifth Symphony is the first major symphony that trombone was used as a secular instrument. You know, trombone is always associated with something sacred, either God or hell, something supernatural. So I think it's very meaningful that Beethoven used the trombones on the fourth movement of his Fifth Symphony. There is something supernatural.
What is it like to be sitting back there for 20, 25 minutes without doing anything, then all of a sudden you have to come in, boom?
It depends what your first note is. That's the way I always view it. If it's in a comfortable register, if it's easy to pick out harmonically, then it's less stressful. If it's, say, up high where all the notes are quite close together, and it's just a little funky in terms of the harmony, then it's a little more stressful.
There's a lot of symphonies like that. Brahms is another composer that you will sit for a long time and then have to come in, usually on a soft note, soft high note for tenor trombone, and less stressful for bass. I always jokingly say that I majored in trombone and I minored in sitting.